All righty, y'all. You already know what time it is. It's Tea for the Hustlers with Muthaknows, and today, this is one of those conversations that's been needed. I've got a woman in the building who has never been afraid to stand in her truth. Comedian, actress, Oscar winner, cultural voice. Miss Monique is here with us today. Mo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mother. How you doing, baby?
Oh, I'm blessed and I'm highly favored. How are you doing, my friend?
Listen, absolutely not one complaint.
I know that's right. Listen, I want to say this before we even get into it. This space is about honesty, respect, and clarity. So we are going to talk and we are going to have real talk before we get into the headlines and everything people think they know. How are you, Mo? Like, really, how are you in this season in your life?
Absolutely wonderful. You know, see, I can't stop smiling because my granddaughter had a dance recital last Sunday, right?
Oh.
And she's 4 years old, okay? And she's on stage with like 6 other little girls that's 4 years old. Why was my granddaughter the only one that blew a kiss to the audience, honey, and took her bow?
Come on.
That's how I'm doing.
I know that's right. Mo, I got to ask you, what does peace look like for you right now compared to maybe 5 to 10 years ago?
My family. My family, my husband, my children, my grandchildren. You know, I read a comment the other day, and someone said, because Monique be talking so much, she blocking her blessings. And I was like, you know, you have no idea what my blessings are. And because we get so caught up in stuff, we think those are blessings. My family is the biggest blessing I could ever have in my life, Mother.
You've always been strong publicly, Monique, but what has this journey required from you privately that people don't see?
That's a great one, Mother.
You know I come,
okay.
Mo. You know I come with the questions for you, Mo.
You know, I say this because when people say, Monique, you're so strong, and I have an amazing husband. I have an amazing black man that is by my side. And have my knees ever buckled? Yes. Have I ever been in a place where I cried and said, oh, I did it right? Yes. But because that man is standing right there with me to say, listen, Mama, we good. We good. And he said that to me from the moment all of this stuff happened to right now. We good. And I believe him. So I don't put on a persona for the public and then behind closed doors, I'm falling all apart. What you see is truly what you get. And again, I am grateful to have that black, beautiful man in my life saying, we are good. I believe him, and we've been good.
Now let's step into some of the conversations that have had your name circulate, and you have been very vocal about your experiences in Hollywood, especially about respect, fairness, and being heard. For people who may only know pieces of the story, how would you explain what you've been standing on all these years?
Simply integrity. I'm standing on the truth. I am standing on when people have said to me, Monique, just let that go. We've let so many things go, Mother. That's why we stay at the bottom of the totem pole. Because we keep letting things go. Right now, there's a big discussion going on about reparation. There's a big discussion going on about admitting that slavery was the worst crime in history. There's a big discussion happening about that. And you have some saying, yes, we're supposed to get reparations, and I believe we should. And then you have some saying, well, no, we need to let that go and move on. Because we've let so much go, it's why we're still right here. It's why we're still asking for something that is rightfully ours. So for me, and because I do have children, and because I do have grandchildren, my husband and I have to take a position to say, we got to make sure that when we're no longer here, they can still stand strong in whatever they have to stand strong in and be unapologetic about it.
Do you feel like your message has been distorted or simplified by the media, Monique?
I feel like the message has, of course, been distorted. Of course, it's been simplified by the media. media. However, when I am walking in the airport, when I am at the farmer's market, and I see a young sister to an elderly sister, and the young sister is saying, Auntie, I appreciate the fight that you're having for me, and the elderly woman is saying, baby, we're watching you, and you keep standing tall. I can't control the media. However, what I can control is my position in it. I can control my unwillingness to let it go, my unwillingness to say, oh, please accept me, oh, please. I'm not willing to do that because of that little girl right there and because of that elderly woman.
Uh-oh, Mo, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Here you go.
Okay, I'm still right here.
Go ahead.
What part didn't you get?
You cut off going towards the end.
Oh, I said, though the media may have distorted it, and they may have tried to simplify it, the little girl that I see that says, Auntie, I appreciate the fight you're having for me, and the elderly woman that says, we appreciate how you standing, baby, and you keep standing. I can't get caught up in how the media puts it out there. I know how we keep putting it out there.
Now I want to lean into something specific that people have had a lot to say about. You publicly expressed disappointment with Whoopi Goldberg, and that conversation really caught people's attention. Take me to the moment where things shifted for you. What did you feel in that situation, Monique?
You know, Mother, the day that I was sitting on that panel with those women, and a woman that I have admired, a woman that, as a younger woman, when I first saw her special come out, I was blown away with her genius. And then to sit there and watch that woman say, I could have schooled you. It was disheartening. It was disappointing. And it was embarrassing, not for me, but for us. Because here you have an elder in our community telling me to the world, I could have schooled you how you supposed to, what they expected of you. Well, when you watch any slave movie, Mother, you always see someone saying, this is what they'll expect of you. She never said, Monique, you're wrong. This, I could have told you what they expected of you. I could have schooled you. And in that moment, as I'm sitting there and we're these black women, and she's telling me, I could have told you what they expected of you. I am looking at Karen, saying to myself, are you serious? And what they did was they put me in the last segment with a few minutes to go so that I couldn't really get into it. I was disheartened. I was disappointed. I was looking at her like, why are we doing this right now? Like, why are you doing this? And this is coming from a woman who allowed a white man to be in blackface and humiliate her with jokes. But you could have schooled me.
Do you feel like what you were expressing was misunderstood, or do you think people just weren't ready to hear it, Monique?
There was no misunderstanding. I just think that, and I don't think that we weren't ready to hear it. I think that some people were saying, how dare you have the nerve to say it out loud? How dare you have the nerve, you big fat black woman, to speak about the mistreatment? How dare you do that? And I think when it does come to Karen, which she calls herself Whoopi Goldberg, when you understand her history, when you understand when she said she could have schooled me, Whoopi Goldberg was actually sued because she spoke about a project that she may have been interested in, but they said, no, you said you were going to do it, so now we're going to sue you. Then she actually did the project with something that she really didn't want to do. So when you know the history of what she's had to deal with, and then you look at me and say, I could have schooled you, what that felt like was, how dare you be the one to stand? Because when I tried to stand and say this was not fair, they sued me, and because I didn't want to be sued, I actually wound up doing the project. I'm not cut like that.
If Whoopi Goldberg was sitting right here, right now, what would you want her to truly understand about where you were coming from?
I didn't have a deal with those people. I didn't have a deal with Lionsgate. I didn't have a deal with Tyler Perry. I didn't have a deal with Oprah Winfrey. I only had a deal with Lee Daniels. And what Lee Daniels said when we did I think it was for the New York Times, Lee Daniels said, Monique gave me everything that I needed. I honored my contract with Lee Daniels. And if you notice, Mother, no one's ever said Monique is lying. No one's ever said she's defaming my character. No one's ever said that. What they do is go silent. What they do is we'll just be quiet and we'll just let it go away. It's like, guys, as long as I have breath, I'm not going to be quiet. And no one's ever said, we're going to sue Monique. No one could sue Monique because no one had a contract with Monique but Lee Daniels. And I know people say, she's still telling a story. Yes, I am still telling a story because it was wrong. Those people wronged me. They affected my career. They affected my finances. So when people say, oh, Monique, just let it go, and not only that, Mother, they affected other people. They affected families. That lie that Tyler Perry told, by it affecting my family's finances, we had people that worked with us that we had to let go because we could no longer pay because things got affected that deeply. So, no, I will be very clear. As long as I have breath, I'm going to keep speaking about it until they either right the wrong. They may never right it, Mother. I may go away from this earth and they don't write it. However, my children know about it. My grandchildren will know about it. If we can't speak on it no more, y'all speak on it. Because you find out later on in history, when we hear these stories, these people are now long gone. They're now long gone, but then they'll say, oh, they was right. Yeah, they was right for it, but in the moment, they weren't strong enough to say, no, not only is she right, we're going to stand with her too.
Looking back, is there anything about how that situation unfolded that you would approach differently today, or do you still stand exactly where you stood then?
You ready for this, Mother?
I'm ready.
I'm standing exactly where I stood then to where I stand right now because it's not changed. It's not changed. So I'm not going to change because people may be talking. They may be tired of hearing it. They may listen. Then stop listening. However, okay? You have a right to turn me off. That's the beautiful thing about it. If we continue to be afraid, that's how you come up with your Harvey Weinstein. That's how you come up with these people that have done these things, but because they were told, oh, don't say nothing because it's going to mess with your career. Oh, don't say nothing because you could ruin this. Mother, you have a lot of people, in my humble opinion, that have been wronged, mistreated, violated, and they've not said anything. That causes stress. Stress causes cancer, and cancer causes death. And I'd be damned if I'm going to take your secrets to the grave. I'm not going to do that. So I said it, and I'll continue to say it. So that way, the people know it. They know it. Your Steve Harveys, they know it. However, when my brother said to me, forget integrity, at that point he said everything to me. I can never forget integrity. I can never forget my dignity, my integrity, my pride. Because if I do, Mother, then I'm walking dead.
For women, especially black women listening to this, who feel like speaking up might come with consequences, what would Monique tell them?
Her name is Harriet Tubman. You know how many consequences came with that? What I would tell them is, when you're standing for right, Yes, consequences will come with it. But when you say nothing, consequences come with that. See, when you say nothing, but you know you've been mistreated, the consequence that comes with that is when nobody's around. And those four walls are closing in on you. And you know you let somebody violate you. You know you let someone molest you. You know you let someone mistreat you. But you say nothing at all. Who has to deal with that but you in those quiet moments? I'm not willing to do that.
Period. And as we move forward, is reconciliation something you're open to with Whoopi, Tyler, Oprah, or do you feel like that chapter is closed, Monique?
No, I don't ever feel like that chapter's closed. When people take accountability and responsibility, we can have a conversation. That's why we've always said, not only to Whoopi, to Oprah, to Tyler, to Steve Harvey, to D.L. Hughley, hey guys, let's have an open conversation. Because I may owe people an apology. Who knows? Let's sit down, my husband and I, and all of them, and have an open conversation. When people say, and I'll give you an example. I have a relationship with somebody that I've been knowing since I was 16 years old. Me and this person, when I was about in my 30s, we didn't have a falling out. We had a misunderstanding. And we separated. About a month ago, that person gave me a call. And once we had a full conversation, she said, you know what, Monique, I mishandled that. And I owe you and your husband an apology. Now we talk on this phone, Mother, as if nothing ever happened because she owned it. She took accountability and responsibility. For me, that says people are allowed to grow. They're allowed to change. And who am I to block that? Now, there are some people in my life that they can change, they can grow. I don't ever want to deal with them again. But for those people right there, if Oprah Winfrey got courageous enough, Tyler Perry, Whoopi Goldberg, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, whomever else you want to put in there, if they got courageous enough to say, let's sit down and have a conversation, things could be different.
What does accountability look like to you, not just from others, but even within yourself, Monique?
Accountability looks like when you know you have done it wrong, when you know you may have misunderstood, and you can sit down and say, you know what? Let's have a conversation. And I'll make it personal. My son, Shalon. My son went public and told people all that I wasn't and all that he was dealing with and just a whole bunch of things that he knew was not true. However, he was angry. And I had to call my son up. And I said, listen, my mother left this earth, my father left this earth, and my sister left this earth, and I had no relationship with none of them because none of them would take accountability or responsibility for issues that we dealt with. I would hate for either one of us to leave this earth and we not get back together. And my son had to say, you know what, Ma? I don't want that either. And I'm going to own and take accountability and responsibility for what I said because I knew it wasn't true. And that's when he came back. I made that video and said, listen, those things I said, I should not have said that. Me and my son now, we have a beautiful relationship. And I had to take accountability for me, too, with my son. Like, I had to take accountability, as I've done in some interviews, and I said, listen, there was a time I was so busy and worried about being famous and being a star that my son didn't get the nurturing that he should have gotten from his mother. I had to own that. I didn't run from that. I didn't make him seem like his feelings weren't valid because I had to take accountability for it. And that, with he and I both taking accountability, it's allowed our relationship to come back together. It's allowed us to have that mother and son relationship as adults. And I do get to have a relationship with his children, which are my grandchildren, and I can go to those dance recitals and scream in that audience because we both owned it.
At this stage in your life, Monique, what kind of energy are you protecting at all costs?
Peace, my family, at all costs. There's nothing more important to me than the love of my family, the one that I created, the family that I prayed for, at all costs.
Monique, there's been a lot said about you over the years, but this is your M&F moment. What is the truth you want people to walk away with? Straight, no chaser from Monique.
I don't want to talk about me in the third person. However, I'm a warrior, Mother.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some warrior sisters that came before me that are whispering in my ear, God dang it, keep standing. Unapologetically. Hattie McDaniel was saying, Monique, I took the ass whooping so you wouldn't have to. Keep standing. Keep standing. If we know that woman's story, she was the first black woman to win that Oscar award. What said it felt like I was cursed because now I want to be treated and respected like I won the award. And Hollywood whipped her behind white folks and black folks. And that right there, Mother, is one of the most disheartening things when people that look like you, when your own people, like Oprah Winfrey, like Karen, we call her Whoopi Goldberg, like Tyler Perry, whose name is Emmett, like Steve Harvey, when people look like you and they're saying, be quiet, sit down, say nothing. That is the part that is disheartening because they are what I say humbly, bankrupt billionaires. Because when you've given your soul away, I don't care what the number says in your bank account, you're bankrupt.
What's next for Monique? Because let me tell you something. Your comedy show last year at the Keswick was amazing, Monique. Did you feel the energy and love in the room for you when you hit that stage with that black gown and that bun, Mo?
You saw me trying to fight back the tears.
Come on now.
Because that says people approve. Mm-hmm. That says your people approve you. Mm-hmm. Not Hollywood, not the glitz and the glamour, but when your people from the neighborhood, your people from down the street, your people from around the corner, when your people stand to their feet and say, we approve you, I wish that I could give people my eyes so they could see what that is. That's untouchable. You can't touch that. That's bigger than any award that anybody could say, here you go. When your people say, we approve you.
Listen, whether you agree or disagree, one thing you cannot deny is that Monique has stood 10 toes down in who she is. Monique, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming through and speaking your truth with us today. To everybody listening, this is T for the Hustlers with Muthaknows. Monique, stay real, stay grounded, and most importantly, stay in your truth. You have a friend and a fan. His name is Muthaknows. I love you. I have a lot of respect for you, and I thank you for everything. And much love to your husband, Sydney. Much love to Dwight. I love the whole team. Keep doing your thing, Mo. And when you come back to Philly, you know where to find me.
Yes, baby, and we love you back, Mother.
Thank you, Mo. Enjoy your weekend and give the grandbabies a hug for me.
Thank you, baby.
Anytime, Monique.
Okay, honey.
All righty, bye-bye.